Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Grinding Game. This is episode 5, and where we jumping into all kinds of different news. We're behind the scenes again. We usually record on Mondays, but we had to push back to Tuesday due to the crazy weather going on. But I'm glad we waited at 24 hours, boys. And before I jump into why, let me introduce my other two co-hosts here. I have Chip Crispy, better known as Nick Denby, and Dave Lawless over here. Dirty Dave on his gamer tag that have ruined a bunch of people's nights on Battlefield, boys. We've all been sitting in a storm. We're all on the East Coast. How y'all been doing? Good to see y'all.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I've been looking forward to this episode. And down here, I know a lot of the South got hit pretty hard. We have a buddy who's works as a lineman working on power lines. He got shipped down to Arkansas and Louisiana. So if we have any listeners there, hope you guys are doing okay. They might not even be able to watch this till they get the power back on. But I'm in South Carolina, and nothing too crazy over here. We just got some ice. The roads are all slick, but we stocked up on food and had the generator on standby, gas cans, all that stuff. But it was nothing too bad down here.
Yeah,
How about up
nice.
there?
Yeah, it's we had some power issues a little bit. Nothing to where it was very drawn out, but a good amount of flickering was going on. And so it would kind of boot shit down if you were in the middle of it, things like that. But it will really, and I know you know this, Stan. I'm sure you got the same deal that I got, but it was so much sleet during the day. Like it started off as snow, and then it just was fully sleet, and then it went to rain that evening, and it has just turned into a complete ice sheet out there. I know, like leaving for work, I had to park my truck last night at the very top of my driveway by the post. So I was walking out this morning with a flashlight in my bag to my truck, and I can tell you, I'm glad I'm not a gambling man, because I would have bet my top dollar that I would have fallen down on that ice today, walking out to my truck.
His driveway's like a roller coaster too. So
I went up and down, and the whole time I didn't even slip once, and that was not on my betting book. So it's there's fun to it too, though. Like I got home today and I took my son out and put him on a one of those little sleds. I actually I set him down the driveway, and like it was like a moment in my life where I was like, did I make an error doing this? Because he started gaining some speed. But I tried to, he just kept telling me, he said, I can do it. I can do it. Let me do it. Let me do it. Anyways, he did it. He had fun. So I hop on the sled. I go down the hill, and I end up like 50 feet into the woods. Barely survived the encounter, but I took him around on the sled, and with a little bit of a pair rope, and was slinging him around the yard. So while the storm brings some pains in the ass, it also brings a lot of fun for the kids. So,
Well, yeah, like what Nick just stated, I'm about an hour north of him, and we got basically the same thing. A bunch of snow the first day, then it's all turned into ice now. It's been like, what, 5 degrees, 12 degrees the past 2 days. And, we were blessed enough not to lose power at all, which was not on my bingo card, especially when that icy rain started coming down pretty crazy. But just between work and all that stuff, we got through it. And, Dave touched on it too. Any of our listeners that are also, or anybody actually, anyone on the East Coast that's struggling, just stay safe, stay warm. But the fun part is, yeah, going back to that, Nick, I turned into a kid in the snow. So I was like, right now when I was walking the dogs, I was like ice skating on the big giant fields. And I kept yelling over to the wife if she wanted to join me. She's like, no. She's like, remember, you're also 34. So if you fall, it's going to be a little different than it before. And I fell, and it hurts.
yeah, my back is destroyed after doing what I did today.
Yeah, yesterday, I don't know if y'all watched wrestling. I was walking the dogs, and they kind of got me tangled up, and we have kind of like a hilly path we walk, and they got me, and I did a full front flip swanton bomb into the ice and just laid there for a second, like like a murder scene. And my wife yells over, she's like, "You okay?" I was like, I think I think.
Dude, it's hard as a rock up here. Like, I mean,
Oh, it's concrete today. It's
yeah,
crazy.
like I'd slipped out. My feet literally slipped out like Looney Tunes, and I land on my back, on the ice. It doesn't even crack, dude. It's like you're just hitting the rock.
But
And
your
then,
back does.
what
I
makes
wasn't
me so
cracking with my
mad,
back.
you just hear a poof. What was that? Call the ambulance.
Yeah.
Or just slide me in the general direction of the hospital because I don't think the ambulance is getting down here.
Yeah. I have a
But
1 foot bruise in the morning.
the one thing that gets me so mad though is my dog. You made the appearance on here. He's the big red corgi. His full government name is Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but we call him Crunchy. And this dude's addicted to ice cubes. Like every time I get in from a walk, I gotta just like toss him an ice cube. And so now with this, it's like walking. It's a weight because everything he walks by, he's trying to eat more of the ice. So it's just like he has to go walk almost every hour and a half now because he has so much water in his system. But it is what
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
his dream out there.
But like I alluded to at the top of the show, we kind of waited 24 hours to, Nick had some power issues. We were all kind of still recovering from the storm and getting our stuff together. But we're kind of glad we waited that 24 hours because when, during that 24 hours, a certain game came out, a certain game that closed out the Game Awards, and that was Highguard. And we talked about it then before we even started the podcast, and we were a little shocked. Going back to the Game Awards, the way they built up that statue, we all felt like it should have been Divinity that kind of closed it, and maybe Highguard could have been in the spot it was in, kind of coming right after. I keep getting the name mixed up with the new Knights of the Old Republic. What's it called? Knights of the Fallen.
What was
We'll
it?
just say for the sake of argument, you can look it up. But like, yeah, so the night it should have came right after that because it was kind of like a 1-2 punch, and then then I felt like kind of a couple lulls. Then you kind of got a big pick up with controls and stuff. But anyways, so I felt like, and when Highguard got shown, we all kind of already have I feel like hero shooter fatigue and
Fate of the Old Republic.
Fate of the Old Republic. Thank you so much. But and then all this slander, I always didn't choose them for my GOAT. Get their new name wrong. I'm a fake fan. But going back to Highguard, I feel like it was. Then it came out that they didn't pay for that spot, that they were given that spot. So they kind of, I guess Jeff Keighley believed in this game or whatever it may be. But it came out, this one that was supposed to be the next Apex Legends or was set up in their own mind. I feel like that's what they wanted it to be. And this is the team that made Titanfall. And yeah, we just apparently there's an 18 gigabyte update today, which is basically just another re-download. It's a bad week for hype, for whatever hype this game did have, because I feel like it almost had we want it to fail, but a huge win for another game that we're going to talk about today, and we're going to start that right away with what we've been playing, and that game that it was a pick in the draft by Dave, a game that I've actually completed and gotten the secret ending. And yeah, that would be MIO, Memories in Orbit. And before we even get into it, Dave, I'm going to pass it to you right now. But it's sitting at an 83 at Metacritic. You've gotten 13 points last I checked in the draft. Not too bad. So yeah, man. I know you've been playing it a lot. We've all been kind of talking offline about it. And then and I kind of jumped between that and Highguard because it's kind of a tale of two stories here that we've seen a lot lately, where these big AAA huge budgets, I have not checked what the budget was for Highguard, come out and they kind of just, or does it, but these nice indie artistic, going back to Expedition 33 of last year, are just absolute bangers. But enough of me kind of rambling on. I really want to get into us talking about MIO, and then we'll jump back over to Highguard in a bit because I have actually played that a little bit myself, and I have something to report to you guys. But yeah, man, go ahead and kick us off with some MIO.
Yeah, for me, it came at a perfect time, and like I said in a previous episode, if we hadn't done the draft that you put together for us, this one probably would have just went right past my radar. But it was the first game that came out this year that any of us drafted, and with this winter storm and everything, it was perfect over the weekend. Of course, the family comes first. That's where our whole podcast stems from. We're all busy guys, but it just worked out. We got put the babies down for a nap, and I'd play for an hour, squeeze some in, they wake up, and then spend some more family time, put them to bed, and I hopped right back on to play some more MIO at night. I haven't finished it yet, uh, but I think I'm pretty close, just based off I've awoke or met all the breath, the blood, the hand, everything. So I think I'm gearing up towards the. I don't want to give any spoilers away if people are going to check it out, but I think I'm gearing up towards what should be the final boss fight. So hopefully I'll get it done by this weekend. But I see a lot of talk online. People are comparing it, like a worse version or the discount version of Hollow Knight. And I didn't play Hollow Knight Silk Song, so I can't say. It makes me kind of interested though to add Hollow Knight to my backlog and maybe go try it in the future. But for me, this game has been awesome. Just diving in, exploring the whole map, and to me, it's what I like is how you unlock the abilities, different ways to get around. So you would go back and find things, or I should say during the playthrough, I'd see an object up above and I couldn't get there. I'm like, there must be some super jump or something that I'll get later. So I liked how you could put a little icon on the map, and all of a sudden my whole map is filled with these little icons that I need to go back to, and then unlock a new ability. And I'm the type, I was texting you guys that I want to 100% this game because I like it so much that I'll go back before I progress in the story. I'll always go back and clear the map once I realize, oh, like now I can get to that area. So a ton of fun for me. I'm still gonna, like I said, I still gotta go back and finish, but hopefully not much longer. eh, Um, because I know we got a bunch of other games coming up. We need to get to, so I need to finish this one up. I need to clear it, and I know we're gonna jump into Highguard a little bit, but a little bit later. But I think what we see some of the success of these games is you can finish it. It's like you read the book and you're done. You get something out of it. You beat the game. You get something out of it. And I think some of the struggle, all these big multiplayer games try to launch and be the next big thing. It's like, well, where does that go? You can't finish Highguard. Are you? But with a game like MIO, it's like I want to put the time in because I know that I'm going to get to the end and it'll be satisfying, and it'll be something we look back on when we talk about it, or when we get to next year, even we'll recap 2026 and be like, oh man, January was awesome because of MIO. While we were just waiting for something to play, it really landed at the perfect time for me.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I'm in the same boat you were in. I would have never picked this game up, but when we all kind of got hyped on it, we were talking about the draft, and then the following episodes when I believe the Metacritic score came out, Nick started reading some of the reviews, and I was like, I mean, yeah, this sounds pretty good. And I'll be honest with you, I was a little hesitant and nervous to play it, because I'm like, I haven't really done platforming. I've been straight up RPG or first person shooter for the most part of my gaming for the past, I would say the better part now, probably 8 years that I really, really put some time into a platformer.
Hmm.
But just like you, man, I fell in love with the game. Like I really truly enjoyed this game. I thought it was a beautiful game, and like I said, I have finished it. The snow day did help me because we kind of just hunkered down, and
Yeah.
between that and walking the dogs, and again, guys, I don't got kids. I know you boys are fighting for your life, especially on a snow day, but once I tired out the dogs, they were crashed out, and wife was doing her
Hmm.
thing, and she was kind of getting into it too. Thought it was a really pretty game to look at, and to your point, unlocking those cool abilities. Like I said, I don't want to give any spoilers yet. Maybe we'll do like a
Right.
spoiler cast after Nick plays. I know he has some questions for us, but like such cool abilities. I heard the same critiques. Again, I haven't played Silk Song either, but
Hmm.
I that comparison thing, it's the same thing in life, comparison is a thief of joy. And I was like, I didn't
Right.
compare this game to anything except for things that made me happy. There's a couple bosses that Dave, you actually texted me about, and I responded the same way. They remind me of like old school Mega Man bosses, like their
Hmm.
abilities, their style. There's two in particular. I don't know if you fought the other one that I'll just say water and bombs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
So that one also was like a cool Mega Man boss to me.
you can't make mistakes. That's it really it just grabbed my full attention because I think originally we said it's supposed to be like a 10-hour game, and all of us are getting a little older, so I look at some of these boss. I spent 30 minutes on one boss. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna hit the 10-hour timeline here, but that's fine. It gave me a good challenge, and yeah, dude, those bosses, you can't. Big thing about this game, for if those people haven't jumped in, you can't heal during any of the boss fights. There's only certain areas of the map where you can heal up. So you go in and you can maybe, depending on how much how many health bars you have, you could take what 4 or 5 hits, and you're done. So you really, I would be like, all right, I can't get hit in the first half of this battle. I got to save my health bar till the end, and stuff like that. Um, but
And
yeah,
it's
dude, it was
very,
awesome.
and you're right. There is a spike in difficulty. I feel like when it comes to this ball, but also in the platforming, there is like
Mhm.
once you start really unlocking abilities, Nick, and when you play as well, then that platforming like it makes you want to snap your controller in half sometimes. But
Yeah.
there's like such a like in the
Just what
same
I need
way
to
that.
relax.
But you know what it was? It was that to the point you brought up about Highguard and these other multiplayer games, the dopamine hits are from like the experience bar going up, you get a new skin, this, that, and the other. But my dopamine hits for that game was when I learned that boss pattern and I beat him after like
Mhm.
8 tries and he didn't get me one time. And I was like,
It's
dude,
it's
you know,
satisfying.
well, it also again because you to your point, we are getting older. We're not as quick as we are on the sticks, but it reminded me that, dude, I am a damn good video game player when I need to be. You know what I mean? Like it was because you can cheat. You can turn on some like sliders in the settings menu to help you a little bit,
Mhm.
but it doesn't help you that much. Even the boss
Yeah.
degradation one, they like bring the health down like a sliver. It
Right.
doesn't keep going down. In
Yeah.
some games it
I
would keep
do think
going.
I think like not everybody could beat this game. Like it does take a little bit of determination and like you said, memorizing those patterns a little bit, and um, I could see people getting frustrated and not wanting to finish, but um,
It's
I don't know. It's
definitely
a weird.
worth. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's just it does, like you said, the difficulty spikes. Like you're going through the game, it's so relaxing. It's like such a cool ship you're exploring, and then I'd like drop into a pit and be like, oh, like I gotta sit up straight in my chair and everything, get ready for this fight. But you could just be relaxing for an hour exploring, and then all of a sudden you're in it, and you gotta get your wits about you.
Yeah, then out of nowhere too, the environment starts smacking you up. Like you fall into the pools or you get grabbed in by the vines on the side. And there's one, and everyone will know it when they get to it. The saw. When you do the
Yeah.
saw platforming, oh,
Yeah.
I had to like stick my head in the ice outside to calm down for a second after.
And I was always racing against the clock. We put the twins down for a nap, and I'd be trying to I'm like, oh man, I got to get through this area, get to another save point before they wake up. So it just added a little bit of pressure to my playthrough.
But yeah, I would like and like we'll pass it on to Nick in a second, but like some other things I want to touch on. Like, and I'm not gonna give any spoilers, but I did beat the game and then I looked at what you have to do to get the secret ending, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. You know what I mean? Like it was a solid,
Hmm.
perfect experience. I feel like if I tried to attempt that and look it up and you do all this thing, maybe not, I don't know. But so I guess I technically got the bad ending, but then like we all do, I went on YouTube and I looked up the good ending, and it kind of explains without explaining what the game's all about. And it's a really
Mm.
cool. It's really cool. It's really cool. I'll be excited to talk about it at a later date. But again, this game is so new, and I want
Hmm.
everyone to experience it. And again, I keep saying I love the music. I thought the boss fight music was cool for each of the different bosses, and
Yeah.
and again, I wanna also say that, like, when Nick asked us the question about the combat and the simplicity of it, it does get a little bit more. Again, it is basically your three-hit combo. Where the difficulty lies, as Dave was saying, was boss patterns, jumping, platforming, utilizing the environment, utilizing your abilities in the environment to fight bosses. Like, for one of the
Mhm.
fights, I used that one of the techniques you learn, it was basically just, like, doing this on the screen over and over again, and then just looking for openings, smack once, keep running like a coward, but it worked.
Yeah.
But it's a really cool game. But Nick, I know Dave and I have been going a little bit right here. You could tell we're both huge fans, and I'm really jealous that Dave got that pick. But I'm glad that someone did because I'm glad we all played it.
Mhm.
But do you have anything you're curious about? I know you haven't gotten a chance to. I know the storm's been and the kids have gotten you, but
Yeah, it's been busy. I do look forward to playing it. Everything I'm hearing about it, I'm excited about. Um, I do have a couple questions though, and uh, so when you talk about the combat style too, is I'm sure where the boss fights or where the difficulty of the combat really lies. Is it more so you're utilizing your environment and movement of platforming to dodge the attacks and then counterattack? Is that like the whole basis for a boss fight? Is you know what I mean? Is you're just kind of where do you have to go to get out of the line of fire type thing?
so you
Typically,
remember? Oh,
or,
go ahead,
or
Dave.
I'll keep mine quick because you'll probably have more on it getting further in the game. But typically you're stuck in a small area, like the doors close and then you're trapped in there with you can't leave once the boss fight initiates. And so you'll have a small area to work with, and there might be things you can jump on, or you get this early in the game, so it won't give too much away for people, but it's essentially like a grapple. They call it the hairpin in the game, but you can like kind of grapple to other objects to dodge. But it is like in your question, you kind of hit it right on the head. The main thing is you're dodging, 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 trying to find a window, and then you run and attack real quick. And like Chris was saying, you can be kind of cheap and just go to get one smack in and then run away again. So, but then it would take the fight a lot longer.
Yeah.
So where I would die a lot is I would kind of get greedy, try to get one too many hits in, and then it would turn around and give me a smack across my face, and you learn from your mistake.
Well,
Um,
it's kind of cool, I think, to hear about the difficulty level of it as a platformer. And I'm not a huge platformer, so I might be speaking out of character, but I've never known them to be too what I would say like pretty difficult. You know what I mean? I feel like they're all at least what I've played is pretty straightforward and you kind of get the concept down. But this is like it almost reminds me and sounds like you guys are Souls fans. Like you're you know what I mean? You just like the punishment of the boss and then when you finish them off you get the satisfaction. But you just needed it in a platformer to appreciate it.
I think, and I'm not even, and it's funny you say that. I was thinking that today while I was at work. I was like, do I kind of want to try a Souls, like an Elden Ring? Because it's true. Like I never really
Mhm.
appreciated that boss patterns. And to Dave's point, going back to your question about the boss, the same thing. Anytime I would die is because I was greedy.
Yeah.
And the greedy and then the punishment. It's like, oh, I got that three hit into because also you want to get the fight done because the one mistake and you're basically getting tanked up.
That's
And
every time in a Souls game or like Wukong, every time I would die, I would go for more hits than I knew I should just stop. But I was like,
Yeah.
oh, if I just get a couple more off, I'll finish this fight in no time.
And the thing I loved about it, and it's making me want to but there's so much about to come out that I don't know when I ever get to an Elden Ring or a Dark Souls. But maybe when the next Souls light comes out, I might jump in because yeah, they kind of
Mhm.
like you said, I had to appreciate it in a style that was relaxing to me almost. Like
Yeah.
I love the art of this, the voice of it. I love the side scroll, the platforming. Then yeah, you toss in these like I said in today's point, it's like old school Mega Man. Like you get into a boss arena, there's no getting out of it till you win the
Uh-huh.
fight, and um But to your point, like I think that fighting the bosses and just learning their patterns, but then like the absolute satisfaction of like having a no-hit run on them after like so like what I'm trying to say is I remember fighting one boss like there's no way I beat this thing. I'm getting so mad, I'm getting killed quick, but that's
Mhm.
because I wasn't being patient. I wasn't relaxing, and like again, it goes back to that: relax, get in the pocket, learn the patterns, and just don't be greedy. And next thing you know, you're smacking them up. You're realizing, okay, they're gonna do this move, then this move, then this move, and sometimes they'll mix it
Yeah.
up. And then if you just like I know you played like Wukong. I'm sure it was kind of similar. Like
Oh yeah,
if you
you get
just sit in
little
the pocket.
tiny cues.
Well, back
Mhm.
to Expedition 33, it's the same thing. If
Yeah,
you pay attention to the counters and the jumps and stuff, and you're not like just so I don't know, like you get yourself worked up. It's like you just gotta calm down in the pocket, and you're gonna be golden. And that was the best thing is like, it's funny using like football terms, man. And I was like, as I'm playing this little robot with long hair fighting things, but
and
it
the
was
words of wisdom in Expedition 33 that saved me from snapping my controller was, "Go for the dodge, brother, not the parry."
but you
That
want that
parry will
parry
fuck.
so bad.
Yeah. But then I just always go for the parry and get pissed off. But that's
Um,
it. That's I guess my last question for it is, you've beaten it, Stan. I don't know if you said it, but how long did it take you? Was it about 10 hours?
Yeah, it was around like today's point. It took me a little bit longer just trying to learn those boss fights and being an old head in gaming, trying to,
Yeah.
uh, learn them and step away. I had to step away from, in, no, I had to step away from the final boss. And then the one prior to that when, Dave started, like, there's like I don't want to give spoilers, but there's one
Yeah.
fight where it's like it's one of those back-to-back fights. And you're like, bro. And, and
Yeah.
y- and see, yeah, so like
Can you pause mid boss fight?
I never tried. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm sure you can because you could pause. Maybe, yeah, you probably could pause, but
Y-
I think if you do, you're probably gonna die because you gotta
Yeah.
like. I don't know. It's something about it's like in the motion of it. It's like a dance almost, and like
I
you kind of pause mid dance and then have to step back in. You're like, oh fuck, I forgot the pattern.
That's a big one for me in those games though, because you you just get, as you guys know, sometimes, especially if it's a hard boss, the boss fight gets drawn out. And if something pulls away your attention 3/4 of the way through that fight and you have to
Mhm.
step away, I like the ability to be like, all right, at least give me the fighting chance to come back. And even if I fuck up the rhythm right when I get back, at least I know it's on me. At least I wasn't like I had to go handle something, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm almost like
I'm
positive you
sure
can
it
pause it.
is. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
single player. So some of them
Yeah.
though introduce that you can't, but
Now the
I
few
don't know. I
Go
never
ahead,
had to.
Dave.
I never tried to pause either mid fight. Just because, like I was saying, it, in this season of life, the kids come for. I never try to play when the kids are awake or anything. So, I was, I would have uninterrupted time, to fight the boss. But like you said, Chris, I had to step away. There'd be times when I would go out. I would just like walk out to the living room, grab a snack or something, get something to drink, but then coming back, it was like a reset, and I would usually beat the boss no problem after just like a short break from it.
And that's yeah, me and you must have been linked up in the ether, like, because it was like, yeah,
game
you if you
sounds like it's
it's
gonna
like,
piss me off.
well, yeah, it will. It's going to, but it's worth it. It's one of those games where usually I would tell you,
Yeah.
that, Nick, where I'm like, don't, dude,
Uh-huh.
don't do it, don't do it. Like you told me Wukong, like, don't do it, you're gonna get mad. I was like, but
Oh yeah.
the one critique I do have, is what would frustrate me to no end is how I felt like it was the checkpoints from bosses were too far. And I feel like to redo the fight, it wasn't like crazy far, but it was just like dude, put me right outside the room and let me hop right back in there. You know what I mean? Let me
Right.
not go get teleported back to this thing. Have to, it sounds minuscule, but I just prefer that. Like that's where I miss like the old school like Mega Man's, where like if I remember correctly, you'd be like right outside the room and go right back in and try to fight him again, or the closest checkpoint would be really relatively close. But that'd be one of my few critiques of the game. Like again, like I don't really have a lot of critiques. I thought it was pretty solid, and it's like it welcomes you to explore it. And if you can't get somewhere, it's probably because you can't get there yet. You got to go look at some other stuff and go check the other side of the map. I looked up the walkthrough after I was done just to see, and I did a bunch of stuff backwards. I went to one part of the map and beat a boss that I wasn't supposed to beat. Well, technically to the walkthrough until like 3 steps in, so it's kind of lets you kind of go where you want to for a little while until you actually need abilities to get to certain places. So again, so Dave, I have a question for you. Um, Metacritic gave it its score. I believe I said what was it, 83? I just scrolled down a little bit. Sorry. How
Yeah,
would you
83.
rate? I would like, and Nick actually brought this up that we should rate our games that we play, and this actually be a good discussion right now to have, boys. Do we want to go the 1 to 10 route, the Metacritic score route, or like a letter grade route, or how do we want to rate games? Because eventually we're going to be a part of these conversations with the amount of weight we'll be swinging around here
I
in
think
the next
1 to
couple of
100,
years.
man. It leaves up those single digits to, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? You got
Yeah,
a
because a game
71
like
or a
this,
79. Is it low 70s or high 70s? You know what I mean?
yeah, I think you need that broad range of numbers. Because with a game like this, it's if we were doing 1 through 10, I don't think I could jump up to a 9, but sitting at just an 8 was too like. Uh, so to answer your question, I think I would probably put it at 85
E5.
overall because it's like right now at this moment, I want to hop back in there and beat that game. I really enjoyed it, but it's not. Um, I don't know. I know it's not something that's for everybody, and with everything else coming out this year, I think we'll look back fondly on it. But I don't know if we will continue talking about it the rest of the year. Actually, I can pretty much assure you we won't be just because of other stuff coming out. So that's why I wouldn't put it up into like the 90 range. But um, in terms of what our show's all about, busy guys balancing kids and dogs and jobs, it's like this was an awesome game to hit on my Xbox, and I want to get back in there badly, but I got to be disciplined and go to bed after the podcast, probably.
Um, I'm right there with you, Dave. And you actually just brought up a really great point. The discussion about it throughout the year. I didn't even consider that. And you're right. And, this is a snapshot in this year, and maybe we're thinking so fondly of it because it is something so new for us in the landscape. But like we stated, we wouldn't have played unless we drafted it and talked about it. And that's what's really cool about this podcast and being able to do this with you boys. It's making me want to play more things and look at different things. But I'm gonna go a little bit higher, not too much, and give it an 87. I just the raw satisfaction and kind of that kick in the ass he gave me to be like, hey man, you can play these difficult games. Don't get frustrated and give up on it. Because I remember when I died by that first boss, I was like, I should have bought this. You know what I mean? But this, but like having the almost the accountability of the podcast and being like, no, I
Mhm.
gotta play this. I gotta talk with the guys, and
It's our
if I
job.
have the ability to play it, I'm gonna play it. And it's not just I'm not gonna get on the podcast, but it's too hard. I don't want to play. No, it was
Right.
Nick has a valid reason. The power was clicking out. He had his kids home. It's snowing. It was hard. He couldn't get away. My
Yeah.
excuse can't just be Now again, now if we play something and we're gonna talk about that in a little bit, where it's just like after a while you're like, I just don't like this. Now that's a
Mhm.
discussion to have. You know what I
Right.
mean? But you gotta. I feel like you gotta. If we're gonna do this the right way, we gotta give games these dues. So it's a roundabout way of me saying that, Mio, I give you an 87. Thank you for bringing me back to the platforming realm and getting me excited for things. I heard Hollow Knight Silksong's way harder, so I'm good. I'll leave that to y'all to see if you want to jump in. I think that this is the right amount of difficulty for me to get back into it. But yeah, just a great game. And we touched anything else on MIO before we continue, guys?
That's all I have, brother. I'm
Awesome. Well, Nick, I
looking
know
forward to
that
playing it this weekend, hopefully.
yeah, I'm excited for you to get into it. I really want to hear your thoughts next week. And
He's gonna need a new controller by the next episode.
Yeah.
just gonna show us the corpses of all the fallen controllers.
I am liable to get pissed off and fling it out the window.
You've only gotten through the first boss. You're like, but we kind of touched at this at the beginning of the show, guys. And well, Nick, you did that. You weren't able to game this year, and game this year, game this week. But before we go into what else I've been playing, I want to kind of jump into something because as of recording, correct me if I'm wrong, within 48 hours, Nick, your pick Karn will be dropping.
Yes,
You need a 71 plus meta score to get points. If it gets below that, I'm praying for 69 because that means I get the points. But even though this artistic thing, we're kind of, the whole theme of this episode is art versus hype and these big AAA hype games that come out and get all this traction and let us down. But the art in MIO has adjusted my perspective a bit, made me a little bit more eager to see what Karn has to say. Now, am I planning on jumping into this? Probably not. It's just not my type of game. Again, Neil wasn't either, but I really know I won't like this. But early previews I've heard and from quotes I've seen, it's a vertical Death Stranding. It's gameplay is and I don't know. I had to look this up. QWOP, which is like almost like a ragdoll physics, and you fall, which will kind of be funny, or it might just resonate with people. And we know how, like, again, these artistic games can get big Metacritic scores if they resonate with the right people at the right time. So, Nick, how are you feeling in the next 2 days? And kind of talk too why you weren't able to game this week, and then jump into Karn, and we'll continue from there.
Yeah, it's just so with gaming this week, I've been really trying to get back into my schedule, and it's been a lot of the kids not feeling good, the weather, work. It's just been kind of a trifecta of all the things that keep you really busy going on. So I just knew that if I was to sit down and really hit sticks for a while, I would be regretting it in the morning. So I'd opted the safer route of waiting, and I look forward to playing MIO and getting into it this weekend. But yeah, it's just a busy week, man. It's the grind. It was literally the grind fooling through. I mean, it seemed like work had something going wrong every day. I'd be getting calls, things like that. Hanging with the kids. Aurora's got a pretty rough cough, and that's affected her sleep, so she's been kind of up throughout the nights. And as you know, that makes the mornings difficult. So you try to get every ounce of sleep you can, and then yeah, the storm and the power and getting all the shit prepped and all that good stuff. So it's just been busy, busy, busy. But she's feeling better. Work's calming down. The storm's passed. So I do see myself getting some gaming in here shortly. Now,
how do you feel about that storm coming this weekend? Apparently, have you seen that?
I looked. I was actually reading that this morning. I had a little news story up at work, and it seems like it's like a 50-50 right now. But dude, the issue is this ice will go nowhere until Saturday. So it's kind of like I'm at the point where it's like, please no, because I get the timing with the kids too already to go out and enjoy the snow. They're going to be over it. Emily can't get out of the driveway. We have like a quarter-mile driveway. I got to park my shit up at the top. So I'm slowly getting to the stage where I'm already over it, but I'm still making sure I'm having fun with the kids in it. But I hope that storm misses us. Or if it
Dude,
does,
I'm right there with you, man.
a pile of rain in like 40-degree weather and just melts all this shit.
That I will take
Yeah.
that any day of the week.
Yeah.
Get rid of it. We had our fun. It's enough. But guys, we've been talking about it. I think we just gotta all make that move somewhere south, just to get out of this cold. This cold is killing me. Like I
Yeah.
can't take it
It's too
anymore.
much. It's too much. Emily and I were
Walking the
talking
dogs
about
at
that
12
today
degrees this morning. But
when I fucking can literally slide from my truck back to my house without taking a step. I'm over it. So going back to Karn, this QWOP game is it looks like it's won some Guinness Awards. It is like a track racing game. I had to look it up as well. And I almost think at one point I messed around with this game.
it does seem strangely familiar. I agree with you.
And I did not like it. And but here's the thing. Do I think that I want to control every muscle part on someone's legs while they're running track? No. I'd rather just, if I'm doing hurdles, have a button to do the hurdle right on time, or have a slider where I got to hit a green slider. You know what I mean? You can make it difficult to where it's not overly complex. Where I think that Karen is going to get actually some benefit to this style of gameplay is if you watch some of the video on it, that QWOP is not, you're controlling every muscle of one arm. You're controlling one arm, both legs, you know what I mean? And you're really picking where you're going. So I think it's really leaning into a huge realism of mountain climbing. And I think that a lot of people, am I going to play it? No, but I do think that there will be a certain group of people or a bunch of people that play it and probably really like it for how in depth it is, right? You get a little bit of story, you get a lot of focused on every decision kind of matters, right? That's going to make people more interested in a type of survival game where it's like, okay, if I hit this wrong button, then my whole, like you just talked about the boss fight, right? You could put that into people that play survival games sometimes have that mindset, I think, where it's like, all right, it's taken me 15 minutes to get up this mountainside. Now their heart's racing. All right, I got to hit this right move, hit this right move. And then if they don't, you know what I mean? So it's a very different game, but I think adding that level of complexity adds that layer of difficulty to it as well. So I don't know, man. I'm not going to play it. It doesn't seem like a game for me, but I do see it resonating with a good amount of people. When I looked on Steam earlier, it was watch listed about number 58, so not huge, but above some other things. Looks about 40,000 people that are waitlisting it. But I think that that's 40,000 people that are going to be really interested in what that is, instead of a broad number of people that are, it's not waitlisted for me because I know I'm not going to enjoy it. You know what I mean?
No,
So,
you make a bunch of great points. And again, like I like your perspective, especially for someone who doesn't plan on playing it. I think it's really exciting. And what I'm so excited about this is our first time in the season where a counter picker can go up against each other. We've kind of had the banter of Fable, but Fable's still not until later in this year. So this will really be a big, this will be the draft point where everyone gets points. While our board will kind of start filling out a little bit. You know what I mean? So it's kind of exciting. But no matter how it cuts, like, yeah, I have it as my counter pick, but if it's a cool game, and again, like I don't see any of us playing it, but I'll definitely look up some reviews, and have something to talk about when we crash into it next year, and definitely shoot you some very nice text of that Metacritic scores in the 50s. But
you wish.
but we'll see. Dave, anything on Karn before we move on?
That's the guy that secured Marathon.
All right, man. Bungie has a pedigree, and again, I'm going to be eating my words because Highguard's team has a pedigree as well. But I mean, can you look this up, Nick?
Yeah.
Is Marathon has like one of the biggest wait lists on Steam ever, right? It's like, or is that like was that all
Karen
faulty
is 58,
information?
Marathon is 53.
All right, well.
I did see, or I put out a short on our channel talking about it was in the top 10 on Steam for pre-purchase or just from sales, and it was other games that are out, that people can play right now, but it was just a lot of people had pre-purchased it, and I think it's probably because it has that Bungie stamp on it. But
I will say, in the last 7 days, it has the highest gain in the last 7 days, it looks like, out of everything on this list. Well, not everything. Fable's higher, Forza's higher. A lot of games are, but it has 11,000 people that have put it on the wait list in the last 7 days. So I don't know if there's some more news that circulated around that, but
we'll see. That's March too, so that'll be here before we know it too. That'll be kind of coming off the heels of Resident Evil. So we'll see how that plays out. Before I start talking about the other game I played this week, Dave, did you have anything on Karn or any of the battle that Nick and I are in right now?
Yeah, I don't see what like the purpose of it, I guess. But I mean, we talk about games all the time that we might just not be interested in. Like maybe there's an audience for it, but reading some of the people, some people had played a beta version of it, and we're talking about the frustration of like trying to, with rock climbing, they want to stick their hand in this little crack, but then they're trying to tell the left hand to do that, and it would go somewhere else. So right there, it's like if the mechanics, yeah, if well maybe their skill, maybe there's a skill issue, but also if that's the whole purpose of the game is being able to tell your hands and feet where to go, and it's not responsive, then it's gonna tank. I mean, if you are looking for a game like that, you want it to be very precise and follow your commands. And I know I won't be jumping in. I got to do pretty much all my gaming on Xbox right now, and I saw an article that said due to budget restrictions, they were not doing a Xbox launch. It's only going to be PlayStation and PC. So I have the gaming laptop for when there are games that I just need to play that are PC only. But for this one, I'm not going to check it out. I think I'll finish up MIO, and then I'm gonna go try to hit maybe a game that's in my backlog before, or maybe I'll play some Battlefield some more. I still love Battlefield, and Season 2's coming around the corner. But as you alluded to earlier, we got Resident Evil in about a month. So I think that'll grab all three of us at that point at the end of February.
Oh yeah. It was a panic pick, but I defend it.
Some say you would climb to the very end for it. Terrible dad joke. Dog dad joke. All right. So boys, the other game I played, I've got about 3 or 4 games in, maybe an hour out, probably 2 hours in total of this game, and that's Highguard. And we touched on it at the top of the game. And first impressions, I will say the gameplay's snappy. It's fun. It's cool. You get a gun. Some of the guns I feel like are useless. The one I like a lot is your basic assault rifle that you throw a scope on there. And like the third match I did, I got 20 kills and 3 squad wipes. So I was getting nasty with it. The character designs are okay. I will say they're okay. I like the one guy. He looks like Ken from Street Fighter. He's like a fire-based guy. He can summon like firestorms and stuff. And I kind of just stuck with him because the other characters didn't really resonate with me. I kind of like the barbarian guy. He's pretty sick looking too. But yeah. So how do I go about this? I'm lukewarm on it. I think it's okay. I feel like it's almost like everything's kind of half-baked. I do agree. And I've seen a lot of people talk about this. I feel like it should be like a 6v6 or 8v8. That's how big the map is. Another thing I noticed, so like we'll just start from the beginning. So you start out, right, and you're in your base, and you spend the first section of it fortifying walls, and then it's like, okay, now and I can't remember the name. You get a sword. It's kind of the gate breaker. We'll just say, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. The gate breaker is the gate breaker starting to spawn. It's like about a minute and a half. So then you run around the map, opening chests, getting armor, different weapons, kind of going into that battle royal feel. And you're getting yourself all geared up. You do this other weird thing that I didn't really like. You could mine crystals and then go to a shop and kind of get ammo or buy a gun that way instead of finding it. But I didn't like the timing of it. Like it's like too slow. Like you're like sitting there whacking a crystal too long. I'm like, all right, dude, whatever. I just want to do this. You also have a mount, so you can like jump on your horse and you're running around the map on the horse. And then the gate breaker spawns and you got to go look for it. And it's like very clear on the map where it's at. You run over there and you kind of fight the other team. You grab the sword and then you try to run to the other base, shove the sword in one of the spots, and then this gigantic tower shows up, and then you start the raid. And then you got to destroy the generator. And then it goes into kind of like a defend, kind of not King of the Hill. What's the game mode in Battlefield where it's like A and B, and you have to plant a bomb and blow up a generator, and then you have to try to stop. Yeah, so it's basically it turns into Rush, and you run in there and you try to plant the bomb and then stop them and all this. And in that, you kind of add in like Overwatch ultimates. So like my fire guy can like throw a fire fissure, and then he can throw a fire grenade, and then his ultimate's a firestorm that like makes a giant fire cloud above you and starts raining down fire everywhere. And yeah, and it kind of just does that back. That's the whole game right there. And it's it's like, but that's what it is. And I don't want to be too hard on it because, and that's it. I mean, like that's exactly what it is. And what frustrated me in that game I was telling you guys about, like my other two teammates had 4 kills, 3 kills, and that's how my first 2 games went until I finally really understood like the loop of it. And then, but even with 20 plus kills and no one else was even near that, we still didn't win because like how the raids work, and you know what I mean. And like it was close. It was a close match, and I will say I did have a little bit of fun. I had fun playing it. I wouldn't say this is like the next Concord, but it's I don't know. I mean, they're starting to lose. I think I read right before we started this, like they've lost 85% of the players already. It's one of our top news stories, what the CEO put out, so I'll save it for that. We can kind of tie this right into it when we jump over. But and yeah, like it feels like you're trying to please so many different audiences, and you're not pleasing any of them fully. Like the maps, like so I know I'd like to play with you guys. I think we might have a little bit of fun, and even if it's just like, oh, this is crazy, but like this one, it's free, which is nice. It's free to play, which I give it that props. And but like when I don't like it, go ahead.
So I had to jump in there. Tim the Tab Man was reading some of the Steam reviews. He put a video out, and like you said, it was free to play. And somebody put a review that said, "I downloaded this game for free, and I want my money back."
And I see what they mean. It hit me too. Like after that third match, I was like, I'm done. Like I'll jump back in with you guys, but I have no eagerness to play this anymore. And and it goes back to that. Like I don't want to like it's just okay. It's very okay. And it's like again, the characters okay, the environment okay. But it's like I feel like there's a really cool idea there. It's just like it's almost like it's like you're trying to make a first person MOBA, but like without anything in the world really except chess. Like maybe you put like I don't know, put enemies out there that aren't other characters, and then you kind of like get you know what I mean? Like maybe I don't know. But all in all, boys, I have to say I put 2 hours in. And it was the game I played right after MIO, and that's where like the whole like I said, the whole theme of this podcast is just like this game that gets the last spot at the Game Awards, has this huge Titanfall devs pedigree, comes out and is just an absolute bust. And then like Jeff Keighley put out a tweet saying like you guys will all be apologizing to me in 48 hours because everyone was giving him crap about putting that out there. And I'm like, dude, are you?
Yeah, the Jurassic Park guy.
Yeah, are you gonna even say this now? Like, you know what I mean? Like, are you gonna say any of this now? Like, or like be like, yeah, I was wrong. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude,
Mhm.
again, like that's you decided to put that out there. Maybe you truly believed in this game. I'm just like, but the numbers don't lie, man. And I played it, so it's not just me hating on something that I didn't play. I put some time into it, and it's like there's better shooters out there. Is what is what it boils down to. I rather if I'm gonna play a shooter and level up in a shooter, I'd rather play Battlefield 6 right now. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But you know, and before we kind of continue into the news, guys, do you have any questions? Anything you've seen? I know y'all have been reading some stuff, looking up some stuff too. I know you haven't had a chance to jump in yet, but what are y'all's initial thoughts? Just what you've seen of Highguard, and just one last thing: that they peaked at 97,000 players, but only 18% are positive on Steam, and you already alluded to some of the negative comments that have been read. But go ahead and take it
Yeah.
away.
Um,
Yeah. Or yeah, Nick, you want to go first?
yeah, sure. I'll just go real quick. Um, just just from what I've heard from you and a little bit of what I've seen is it sounds like it's trying to be too many games at once. Like, look, if you're gonna have a big map and to the point where you can have mounts and the sole objective is a firefight, it needs to be bigger than 3v3. That just sounds to me like I would get bored very quickly.
Well, you just right. Thank you for saying that. That's another thing. Is it like it? You almost have to go your separate ways to get the good stuff, but then it punishes you for not working together, and then you get mollywopped. But you know what I mean on the three
Right.
v one. So yeah, but keep going.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. As you kind of split up, it's just like I don't know, man. You look at so many shooters and so many different games, and it's like, would this work as something else that was maybe tighter maps and more focused on different aspects of combat and maybe a couple different game modes? Maybe. To me, it sounds very repetitive. It sounds kind of slow paced, and it sounds like something that I would probably try. And again, as it shows, play for a little bit. I'm not one to leave bad reviews or good reviews, but I'd probably play for a little bit, uninstall it, and never play it again. You know what I
That's
mean?
where I'm at. I want to run in one more time with y'all and just us all experience it together.
Yeah, I
But
mean, I'm down to
after
I'm
we
down
do
to
that, yeah,
experience it. Yeah, but that's my initial thoughts off of what I've heard.
it would be hilarious if we all jump in together and it's like, oh, we
Love it.
love this. We're playing together, and it's like, guys, we have to apologize on behalf of High Guard. I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
they were right all along.
Dave.
Well, that's the thing with these. I hear 3-on-3. I'm like, dude, I don't even want to try it unless I have two friends on that are locked in. We can all be on the mic and focus because that's a competitive space there. It's something great that I love about Battlefield is the team size is so big that I can play by myself and still just like destroy the enemy team and get up to the top of the leaderboard. And then you start going to these smaller modes, and I think their problem, it's a lot of everyone's trying to copy. Like I've watched some streamers playing, and right away there's a store in the game, and it to pull people away from these shooters, like you said, Battlefield right now, that's definitely got me. Um, you have to do it has to be an insanely good game. Like we saw that with Apex Legends. It just shadow dropped out of nowhere, and it was like damn near a perfect game that pulled all these people away from Fortnite, Call of Duty, and stuff like that. But like I just referenced Fortnite. There's people that have been playing that game for years, where you build up all these skins and just your XP, your character, and all that stuff. That are people aren't going to jump into a new game and be like, oh, now I want to grind. I want to start this grind all over again and unlock some new skins and stuff. And the reason a game like MIO can find success is because it's a one and done, like we talked, 10 hours or maybe 20 hours if you suck like me. and but then I can jump back into a game that I've been working on for a few months, like Battlefield. Still go back and level up those guns, and it's I just don't I watched the video where the developers were really hyping up the game, and at first, like, they had my attention. I was like, this looks really cool. I got like Blood Gulch from Halo vibes, where there's just a base on each side of the map, and I'm like, oh man, you're charging the other base. Like, it's a cool concept, but like Nick said, they tried to throw so much into one game. Like, why are you mining rocks when and hearing you talk about your experience, it just sounds like this long, like, just preamble, basically, where it's like, when does the fighting start? And then also you do all that work, and then you realize the other team is so much better than you. And I could just see how it just feels like a lot of wasted effort, where, they had a cool idea. I think they were really passionate about it. They're really excited. Like, it was such good developers. These people worked on Apex Legends, that I speak so highly of, and Titanfall, and games that all gamers love. But they just missed something here with with trying to just do everything in one game. I think if they, like you said, expanded it to more players, that would be cool. Like Halo, like I just talked about, big team battles, 8 versus 8. You're on a map the size of Blood Gulch. It is awesome when you're playing capture the flag, and you load up your buddies in the Warthog and go raid the enemy base and take the flag. Like, if they had taken that idea and just really narrowed in on it, I think they could have made a really cool game. But it's like, is it a hero shooter? Is it a, like you said, elements of a battle royale where you're like looting during the match? And then some of my questions would be like, all right, so if I go buy this, like shotgun with all my resources, is that just gone at the end of the match? You got to redo that the next time. I'd rather just
Yeah.
be able to I'd rather be able to just open a chest and get something, um, rather than like putting work into like unlocking a weapon, basically, and then nope, it's all gone. It's got to start over the next game. Yeah, I don't. I'll be down one of these nights. Maybe if we tried Thursday, or maybe over the weekend or something, it would be fun to get the three of us in there, give our full on thoughts. But I don't know. I gotta say, with all the internet, can make or break a game just like that. And I think all these streamers and gaming channels have already just put a bad taste in my mouth. Even you're talking about your experience. I'm like, oh man, like, if he didn't love it, then I know I'm not gonna be all excited about it. And to circle all the way back to the beginning, like I said, it's like, do I want to take this time and like level up a new character, or however, pick a new hero, and when there's so many other good shooters out there that really deserve our time? So
You made a bunch of great points, and yeah, just to answer one of your questions was like, yeah, so it can turn into multiple rounds, those matches. Um, So, like one match I did was like 3 rounds because they didn't, like, finish us off in the first raid or second raid, and you keep
okay,
those so you'll keep a gun through an entire match, but to your point, then you start out with just basic gun loadouts, and then you go and find better stuff each round. That's kinda like that battle royal feel, like
yeah,
Red Sec, yeah, so that's kinda where they're pulled from. Again, just so many different ideas all bundled up into one, where it's almost like maybe, yeah, just having base loadouts and doing the Blood Gulch would maybe have been a better route for them. But yeah,
yeah,
Dave, just so everyone knows, Nick had to step away. He should be trying to get back here. He's running, like you said, that storm hit him pretty hard, so he'll try to hop back in when he can. But we're gonna keep rolling
storm's
this thing
got him
along.
now.
He he slid all the way back down the driveway, so we'll see if we'll catch him
Yeah,
again. But
yeah,
so that's kind of all we've been playing this week, everybody, and but it kind of flows right into, I hate to stay on the Highguard stuff, but to our first news story, which is, the Wildlight, which is the developers of this game. CEO Dustin Welch admitted, he said we could have made a better trailer. They also released a year one roadmap with monthly episodes and apparently monthly wardens, which are what the characters are called. I meant to say that earlier, coming
mm.
out. But Dave, do you do you think that's a little too late? Is it kind of like a Halo Infinite problem? Like you release something, there's not enough stuff there, people are going to drop off, and the sentiment's already kind of set in stone.
That
How
that
you feeling?
that is Halo Infinite is a pretty good comparison. Although that ended up being you know, doing much better than I think Highguard's gonna end up doing. But
100%, yeah.
yeah, it's an interesting statement. We could have made a better trailer, and I had talked about that. Watching the developers with the gameplay trailer. It was like the trailer was a 10, and now the game, didn't land close to that. And the all the talk, everything they put into it, it did have my curiosity. It had me hyped. Just the idea of it, like I said, going back to Halo Capture the Flag, I was like, oh, this could be awesome. um but it's, yeah, they overhyped, I think, would be the word for it. They could have maybe just released it, done like an Apex approach, just drop the game. uh People would, and kind of have it be like a early, what would you call it, early access, or just like th- let people know, like, hey, this isn't a complete build yet, like we want to get people's feedback and take a more humble approach. It's just they got so cocky and they didn't deliver, which is it's
Well,
crazy,
yeah,
and it, it, I don't wish any game to suck. I want every game to be awesome, because it just gives people more stuff to play and more fun to have with their friends. But yeah, it's I guess that'll close my thoughts on that. It's overhyped would be the to summarize all my rambling.
no, no, you made a bunch of great points, and I think it all kind of, I feel like the precursor to all of it is being the thing to close out the Game Awards. I feel like you immediately didn't do yourself any favors unless you had like something like Divinity or the
Mhm.
Fall of the Old Republic, something like that's gonna be a
Yeah,
big moment that, and
yeah.
to your point, I agree. I think they should have just been like, hey, this game's gonna come out early access. We want to get a bunch of community feedback. We have this idea cooking. And I feel like it would have been, again, and not be at the Game Awards or be like one of those side trailers. Like, hey, this is coming soon, early access to the guys that brought you Apex Legends and Titanfall. And then
Mhm.
he's back, boys. He survived
There
the
he is.
storm. It was
I'm
that
back on the phone. That's the only way.
You're out there
that
building a
bot.
snowman.
No, just that system down there, dude. I think I might have got fried in the with too many blips. So
I think
Mm.
the
we're on the phone.
the Bobcat came back for you. Um, he never forgot. You firing
He's
rounds.
always had it out for me.
No, Nick, just so you know. Oh, how you Athena? No, Nick, just so you know, we're kind of wrapping up our thoughts now. Just real quick, the Wildlight CEO, Dustin Welch, she stated that they could have made a better trailer. Dave and I both agree it was overhyped. It could have probably done a lot better if they did an early access. What did them no favors was closing out the Game Awards. But before we jump to our next story, anything you want to hit on that?
Well, I mean, I think early accesses do a lot for games nowadays. I mean, how many games have we seen do an early access? People play it, they give the feedback, and they say, "Look, you got to change this about this,"
One
or
year games of
you
the year last year was PoE 2, and it's still in early access.
exactly. And look how successful that is. You know what I mean? It's something to where it's just like free feedback. You get to say early access. You drop it in a playable state. People say what they like about it, what they don't like about it, and you get to change it without any fault. You know what I mean? We were just kind of spitballing this one. Okay, we'll backtrack that or we'll fix this. So I think that would do a lot for a game, especially kind of popping into a genre with Concord failing as big as it did, to kind of test those waters before they just end a showcase with it and drop it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just
Well, and like Dave
you're
said,
kind of
like,
going too hard.
hey, chill, Crunch, chill. Sorry, the dogs were getting lamped up. They don't like Highguard either. Um, but what I was gonna say is, yeah, and they. I think it's a little tone deaf to say we could have made a better trailer. Dave and I both agree the trailer was a 10. It was cool. It got me excited. You could have. not to sound like a jackass, you could have just made a better game or let a game cook a little bit more. But I guess, boys, we'll be seeing these next couple weeks. Like we said, maybe Thursday, Friday this week, we'll all jump in together, kind of give a group take next week, just kind of our final thoughts, and maybe we're just lighting the funeral pyre next week for Highguard the way things are going. But like Dave said, we don't want to see it fail. It could have been another cool thing for us all to play together, but these things happen again. Hype versus art, man. You get something artistic like MIO that really rewards your game time. It's hard for you to be a little as forgiving as we're kind of being for some of these other things that come out. But
It's also hard to come back from just that player drop that you were talking about, and those reviews, 18% positive about all those players. I think that's a hard. People are going to see that on Steam, at least on Steam, and just be like, I'm not downloading that. But we'll see.
Well, also what's killing them too is they're funny. The funny negative reviews will always bury you. Like Dave said, I got this game for free and I want my money back. That's a 10. Sorry, that's funny.
Then 100 people like it.
Well, yeah, Tim the Tap Man is sitting there putting so it just gets it's like having a megaphone. A million people are watching Tim the Tap Man, so now that all of them are like, well, I'm not gonna waste my time, and it's the streamers and the YouTubers can make or break a game just like that.
That's the truth.
Sorry, I had to get crunchy. Was underneath me.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. All three dogs made a debut this episode. That's pretty awesome. But boys, last week, if y'all remember correctly, I gave you guys a thought exercise, and I asked about the future of Xbox. Right. I thought a really big thing, with both Fable and Gears, basically set to be day one's. Nice jug. Wonder who got you that. And be day one PlayStation releases, but also a really big thing was the PlayStation hosted a Fable trailer and it has double the views of the Xbox One. It goes back to my initial question, and then it will flow into our next story, which was funny because we kind of started talking about the storm and missed our usual. We like to do a warm up thing, but the storm warmed us up. No pun intended. But do you see Xbox? I think that they're kind of leaning into this more now and really preparing us and the audience and you guys being the Xbox guys, preparing you for what they're going to become the third party, and they're going to release the best games and the most games and step away from hardware and just focus on software, especially when PlayStation's showing more love than the Xbox audience, or is the PlayStation audience just that much bigger? So I leave the floor to you, and I will hear from you first, Dave.
I fear we might see the end of the Xbox, and we've all talked about our fond memories of it over the years. But I just saw an advertisement recently where a guy was holding up like a LG TV, a smart TV, and the statement made was, "This is an Xbox as well." Because of Xbox's route lately with cloud gaming, and I had even talked about playing games like I can play Clair Obscur on my phone, logging into my Xbox account. So then it's like, what even is an Xbox anymore? If you can, you could play their games on different devices, such as a cell phone or a TV, and then like you had stated, they're basically handing everything over to PlayStation, where for all these years it was this big war, like, oh, I need to get an Xbox so I can play Halo, or I need to get the PlayStation so I can get into God of War and some of their other titles. And obviously we know Nintendo just has planted their flag, and they're not going to give Mario or Pokemon away to anybody else. And they might be the wisest for that, because the Switch sales, are, or whatever they come out with next after this Switch 2, it's going to keep going, where even PlayStation, like, it's people are making those choices if they're going to get a PC or the PS5 Pro. But then with like Nintendo, it's like, no, you have to buy our shit to play our games. And it'll be interesting how that plays out, if it helps or hurts any of these companies. But interesting thing I've heard as well from, I've talked about this guy. I'm a fan of Ryan McCaffrey over at IGN, and he's been an Xbox guy from the beginning. He started off with the original Xbox magazine, before before any of this stuff was even on the internet. And I heard him say himself that he is going to be playing Grand Theft Auto 6 on the PS5 Pro because it's a better piece of hardware to enjoy a game of that caliber. And to hear somebody like that, who, I mean, he's probably got an Xbox tattoo somewhere on his body. Like he's the Xbox guy, and he's even jumping over to PlayStation for some of these big titles. And I think we're starting to see that transition, where it's like, why do you even need an Xbox anymore? I mean, let alone, we talked to the tariffs and the price hikes and stuff. Now to get a Series X, it's like probably $700. So it's like, well, I could play on my TV or my phone. Why am I going to go buy this? Like, I bought this Series X years ago, and I've been a diehard Xbox guy, but now if we go into the next generation, I'm really going to be thinking about, like, man, if I can get Halo and Gears and all that, Fable, and if PlayStation has the better machine, it's kind of a no-brainer. Like, why wouldn't even somebody like me, like, why wouldn't I switch over? I don't want a weaker console to enjoy these games I love. So yeah, that's pretty much, that'll wrap up my thoughts with that. But I fear the end. I want there to always be an Xbox. Maybe I'm just set in my ways. But I feel like it's gonna go away.
No, and I think you touched on a lot of points. I think the concerns of any Xbox fan or diehard is, like, again, like, I know I switched to PlayStation about 2 years ago, but I was Xbox all the way my whole life up to that point. Minus, we talked about our gaming history. I had the PlayStation 2, and then it was Xbox for most of my adult life up until just recently. But Nick, I just got the notification, 3 inches of snow Saturday is what they're calling for. So on top of all this
Oh,
ice, wouldn't that be wonderful? But no, I already told y'all how I feel about it. I think we're on that path. I think that especially with the exclusive game over on the Xbox side of thing, like you're stating, like the next generation, I feel like, and again, the next thing we'll talk about too is also a big possibility for me, and will probably be my next purchase. But the PlayStation has its own exclusives. Again, the only thing if you have the PlayStation and if you get this next machine or you have a PC, the only thing you're really ever going to miss out on is Nintendo, to your point, because Nintendo's the only one that has their exclusives, and they will not put it on anyone else's machine because they don't have to. They're
right.
good. You know what I mean? They're solid. But Nick, how are you feeling with the Xbox white flag maybe being flown pretty soon?
It's horseshit. No, I'm just, you cut that part if you want.
I was like,
No,
we keep it.
no, it's I could see it happening. It's just, I think, if anything, if there's going to be a master device, it's going to be Steam. I mean, I just stick by that. I just, if you look at PlayStation and you look at Xbox, why? Why one or the other? You could say exclusives. Well, if it's always exclusives and people want the most exclusives, they'd go to Steam. If Steam makes one that can play like a console and play all the games, and it's the most powerful because it can run like a computer, people will get that one. I don't know. I mean, I don't see, I do see Xbox going away from it because also in this developer direct, something that they highly emphasized was every one of these games is Xbox Play Anywhere. You know what I mean? They wanted to make that known that you
Mhm.
didn't have to be on an Xbox to play all these games they're talking about. So I see it happening. I don't know what the ultimate goal is. Like, sure, you could be the biggest publisher of games, but unless they have the lowdown of the next latest and greatest hardware that's gonna just brush everything else under the rug, why stop selling devices if people are gonna buy them? I mean, you might not be selling the same threshold of devices, but I don't know. I don't like to think to get locked into PlayStation after my account did get hacked. I mean, I'll just be honest with you, dude. The customer support of Sony is ass. I loved PlayStation up until that point, but when I can't even get back into my own account that I bought games for and things like that, and all someone has to do is call Sony customer service and have a little bit of info about me and they can access my account. It makes me pretty wary to get back into PlayStation and I do it for the fun of it, man. I'm not looking for another headache of getting my damn credit card buying. Yeah, it takes 2, 3 times so they can gift it to their buddies like they did on my shit. But it's like that's the biggest thing is it worries me if Xbox goes away and let's say Steam doesn't drop the next latest and greatest, right? PlayStation has the console in the bag, right? You can make an argument about Nintendo, but it's not comparative, I think, to PlayStation Xbox. Then PlayStation has nothing to compete against as well. It's not good for PlayStation, right? You know, a little bit of what gaming and creation is about is you want to be making something really cool and something better than what somebody else is making. I worry what that will do to that franchise as well, not having that constant little struggle that makes you want to go a little bit further and make an exclusive that's really cool, and maybe that won't impact it, but I just see that being, something. I definitely see it on the horizon more so than I did before, and it's worrying, but I don't know, man. I just it's gonna be strange to think of a time if there's not Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, and PC. It's the four orders of life.
The 4 pillars. But no, you
Yeah, the
make
four
a
pillars.
you make a great point though. Competition does push for excellence, as we know, and strives for
Mhm.
you to want to do better. And you can see that in all different forms of entertainment. If there's a competition happening, you would hope they're trying to make the better product, and that only helps the consumer more. But again, like and to your point, I think it flows right into our next story, the Steam machine. Um, it had some leaks. I guess the Czech retailers, excuse me, leaked prices for both the models for the Steam Machine 2.0 was $950 for the 512 gigabyte and 1,070 for the 2 terabyte. Now, I had a question I wanted to pose to you guys. With Valve, with it leaked at basically $1,000, $1,000 cube, some are calling it. If it plays your entire Steam library at 4K 60 in the living room, is it a day one buy for you guys? Are you thinking about this? Is this kind of, to your point, maybe the pillar shifts if Xbox falls away, or maybe even partners with this. Who knows? Maybe that's where this path could lead. But I will start
Uh,
this off by saying this will be my next console purchase. I think, yeah, that $1,000 price point is a pretty big one to look at. But if I'm looking at my next strong machine and I kind of want more games to play, and I already have a PS5, and I'm hoping that the PS6 isn't coming out till 28, maybe 27. Then I have both of those, and I feel like me personally am set for what I want to play. I'm not a Nintendo guy anymore. None of their games really talk to me. Their biggest game last year was Donkey Kong Bonanza. That I get why it would be fun, but I had no interest in playing it. But for me, like yeah, $1,000 is a lot. I'm hoping it's a little bit less. But if I'm basically getting a console PC, which it's not basically, it is what this is, and it says that it's faster than 70% of the PCs out there and is stronger, if not on the same level as the PS5 Pro. But yeah, for me personally, I'm really looking forward to this thing. I saw the specs, Nick. I actually lost them. I don't know if you want to look them up and kind of read those out because I know you don't have your whole setup anymore. My bad.
No,
Once
I'm
when you
on a
guys are
phone right now,
talking,
brother.
I'll pull up if I pull up the specs. If I pull them up, you know what I'm kind of can break it
Yeah.
down for us. All right, perfect. I'll pull those up while you and Dave go. But But yeah, just for me personally, like, yeah, $1,000 is a little tough, especially in this economy. But if I'm looking at my next machine, and I don't know, maybe they have a good. I mean, they have the Steam library built into it, and maybe a big exclusive to come out with it. Maybe Half-Life 3 could be like the release game with the Steam machine too, which I think will be big. But I also feel hard pressed they won't have that on PS5 and Xbox too, or just PS5. But to your point though, back before I pass it on to you guys about Steam Machine, what Dave stated about Karn, not they didn't think it was profitable enough to make a copy for Xbox. You know what I mean? So that's something to say. Yeah, terrible game. It's
Let
not
it
going to do
die.
well, but but that's my point. Like, you guys, I feel bad for you guys because I feel like this next year I'm gonna have to hold both of you as you cry as we shoot the flaming arrow into the canoe as it's flying off with the Xbox Series X in it. But it's kind of like Sega, man. That's what happened to Sega back in the day, and the Sega kids. Unfortunately, the Sega kids flock the Xbox. Now Xbox might betray them too. But so how you guys feeling about the Steam machine, Dave?
I'm gonna have to put my Series X in the fire like the One Ring. It's the only. Just have to get it out.
Nick's gonna jump on your back and bite your finger off before you can do it.
He is. Yeah.
I was able to look up the specs real quick, Dave, before you go, Nick. So it says semi-custom AMD Zen 4.4 6-core 12-thread CPU, up to 4.8 gigahertz, 30 watts TBD. Includes 16 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM and 512 gigabytes or 2 terabytes NVMe SSD storage, and supports 4K 60 FPS.
Yeah. Okay. So it's literally like it's stated. It's probably going to be better than 70% of computers out there. My computer is stronger than that one, barely. What they need to mention in there too, as well, is what kind of graphics card it's going to be running off of, because it just hit the processor, it hit the RAM, which is huge as well, but just off the processor and the RAM, I mean, 16 gigabytes of RAM is nuts for, you know, I wouldn't say nuts. My computer has 32, but it's damn good. It's more than enough of what you need for gaming. I think that
is this the graphics card semi-custom AMD RDNA 30 based GPU, or no? Is that something different? Again, I'm very ignorant to this. I'm gonna
GPU, yeah, GPU is a graphics card.
Yeah, so it says semi-custom.
What is it called?
Semi-custom AMD RDNA 3 based GPU.
Yeah, I don't know. So, but it's probably a trade thing that they're doing with it. You know what I mean? It's not going to be like a NVIDIA RTX or like your typical run of graphics. But Dave, I'll let you finish before I get into my thoughts on it. But for tech wise, I think it's going to be a top performer, or at least on par with PlayStation and Xbox as of right now.
Yeah, Chris, you mentioned something just a little earlier that was interesting thought. If Xbox somehow found a way to get themselves in on this thing, and I could see a future where it involved Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass being available on a machine like this, because we've seen Xbox just like putting everything into Game Pass lately. I mean, that's got to be a big moneymaker for them. And you know, I know people were upset recently about the price hike. It's $30 a month for Ultimate. But I'll be honest with you, I think that's still one of the best deals out there in terms of entertainment. You know, it's just Netflix alone is like over $20 a month, and for all these games that you get on Xbox for $30 a month, you know, that's if you crunch the numbers, that's I think for 1 year that would be like the equivalent price would be six $60 games. And if you just look at what's coming this year with Fable, Gears of War, like Halo, and just everything else. The list goes on and on. Plus all the old titles. Like I could hop in right now and play the old Fables while we're getting ready for the new one. And I think it is just a great. It. I'm I'm happy, or I mean, I wouldn't say happy, but I'm okay with paying $30 a month for what you're getting. And
Mhm.
I'm someone that barely even has time for all these games, but I think it's still worth it rather than me. Like MIO was, I think, about $20 a game itself, and so it's just easy. Like, oh well, I already have Game Pass, so I'll just download it, and it feels like it's free in a way, but you're at the end of the day, you're paying that subscription fee. Um, and what we've seen with Xbox, Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, he's been around for a while, and he's put out. He was there for, I believe, the 360, Xbox One, and then Xbox Series. And there's a lot of speculation that he's about to hang up the hat. He's about to leave as head of Xbox after such a long successful career. And was he, the one pushing these consoles and things because
Mhm.
that's what he knew and he loved, and it's been successful. But I think it's a new age. Um, and just as like you're not buying one machine just so you could watch Netflix and then another machine just so you could watch HBO, like we've seen the smart TV generation just blow up. Like you buy one TV and you have access, you have to pay subscriptions. But I think we could see something like that with the Steam machine. Like, oh, I've got this thing. I could play whatever I want, but I'll just have to pay for the Netflix or, in
Mm.
this case, pay for the Game Pass. If I want to play all these Xbox titles and the backlog of Xbox, because, yeah, we see the new Gears of War is about to be on PlayStation, but I don't think they're going to have all the old titles available on PlayStation. So I think they're really going to lean into Game Pass. I think we'll see that as the future of Xbox. You can get Game Pass on your TV or Game Pass on your Steam machine or something equivalent. And I know PlayStation has something like that, right? Don't they have a
Yeah,
subscription
PlayStation Plus. Yep.
for a bunch of old titles and things like that? So
Yeah, you
yeah,
get
maybe we'll see.
sometimes you get new stuff, but it's not nearly as good and robust as Xbox is. It's okay. Sometimes I'll find like a gem on there here and there. Like I played
Mhm,
last year, Unicorn Overworld, and it was like it came out the year before, and it was one of the favorite games I played the past year. But yeah,
mhm.
to your point, it has that. But also to answer one of your questions, I'm 90% sure they confirmed that PC Game Pass will be on the Steam machine. So that goes to your
There you
point
go.
where it's
Yeah,
like,
it's
you
over.
have Nick, how you
It's
feeling about it? We can hear you scratching your head through your
No, sorry. I got the pods in now.
nah,
it'll buff out.
The I mean, yeah, I'm of the same boat. I think that there's definitely it's going to be going to the route of that. I don't think it's going to go as far as the TVs with Game Pass, as simply that the TVs won't be able to handle it. But I do think that this Steam machine will
well, the TV's
be
already
something.
happening, dude. Have you not seen that yet? I don't know if
I
you.
mean, yeah, in the terms of streaming,
Yeah. You're right. That's what I meant to say. The streaming. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you're streaming it, which is, I mean, I don't know. I haven't streamed a game in a long time, but
Depend. You know how it is. This depends on your
yeah.
connection. Depends on your Wi-Fi, latency, and all that crap. But it's gotten better. I'll tell you this. It's gotten better than when I remember you were the one that introduced me to it with the what was that thing you had? It had a weird name.
Kishi.
Quiche, yes. So like my backbone's pretty great whenever I do play. Like I said, it's not ideal. I'm not really a handheld gamer anymore. I know as I've gotten
Mhm.
older, but it does the trick, especially with how busy you two are. I'm assuming that you might just get the Steam Deck and you might be in set because you can link that up to a TV. But
True,
Yeah.
but like I said, if they want to go the full Game Pass route on the TV, they need to really refine streaming, because I could tell you if I'm gonna stream a game and it's lagging or it's not responsive, I'm just gonna cut the shit off. I
yeah,
don't got time to
Right.
try to battle my way through a half-ass experience with a game. So I think there's a lot of potential with it, but just gaming's so difficult, I think, to get right in a streaming sense, because You know, me and my wife are watching a couple shows, and like sometimes the audio will be a little bit off, and it's like, you know, whatever. We can kind of get through that and keep watching. You know, you get the premise, but
Mhm.
when you're playing a game and you guys were just talking about these boss fights earlier, right?
Yeah.
If that little bit of delay
Yeah, you
means
can't
the
have it.
difference between you lose the boss fight you've been fighting for 30 minutes or not, it's a whole lot more important than the lips aren't synced in audio when I'm watching Netflix. You know what I mean? Which happens today in Netflix is a very successful streaming company,
Right.
right? So I just think they need to really fine tune it if they want to go that route. And I hope that it wouldn't be to the point of an early bet on it not being prepared and it synced the company or synced the Xbox name to where it just you'd have to have the Steam Deck or something like that. Which I would be fine with it just on that. You know what I mean? I just hope they lean into really hardware compatible games too, like pushing the limits, that type of stuff with it.
So
But we'll
my
see, man.
so my last question to you guys before we start wrapping this thing up is, do you guys plan on getting this Steam machine?
I won't get it at launch, I'll be honest with you. It's something I'm really excited about and something I vouched for. But I'll wait around and see some reviews on it, see how it goes. I mean,
I'll be one of
I'm
them.
very hopeful. Yeah, I'm very hopeful for it, but I just won't be able to have the time to dedicate to game. I mean, I got the Series X. I got plenty of games there to come to it that I need to play this year. I won't be able to give that machine its dues, but I'm
Mhm.
very excited and hope it's very successful because I do think it's the future of gaming.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat. I think it sounds awesome. Nick Nick talked about it in a previous episode, but I have the Halo Edition Series X that this was all before having kids and before all that when I could splurge a little bit and I mean it wasn't even that much extra. I think at the time it was like 550 um was the sale price on this thing, but now at this season of life, I'm like, well, I got a good enough console that could run everything for the foreseeable future. Now, in the next couple of years, if we start seeing games that are too big, too much for the Series X, then I'll be looking towards the Steam machine because of everything we've talked about in the last 20 minutes or so. Is like, where is the future of gaming headed? Will I want to invest money in a PlayStation or will I want to? I don't think it's going to be the next Xbox console. I really think they're shifting away from that, and so I'll probably end up getting one. Just I would say probably not for a couple of years at least. Is like if I can play everything that's coming out on this, there's no there's a lot. We're going through a lot of diapers and things like that these days. It's $1,000 for a new console. To me, would just feel unneeded. Like Nick said, I wouldn't even have the time to do it just to justify spending that much money on something right now. But
I'll be
I'll be looking
honest,
towards the future.
you two kind of changed my mind on it. I think I might, because you're right. I was just thinking about, I have a PlayStation 5. I'm able to play everything. What am I gonna really play on this thing that I can't play right now? Hmm.
Yeah, and what if it flops?
That's
Drop a G on it.
yeah, $1,000 flop isn't ideal in life.
I hope it doesn't, but you never know, dude. This is the first thing that Steam's created like this.
You're right. And well, it's the second one. This will be the 2.0 because the first one was a flop, from what I understand. I don't know enough about it. So, but that was a different Steam. This is a whole different animal now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They
Mhm.
have that monopoly in the PC
Yeah, that was
realm.
a
So,
long time ago, right? You said
oh,
it was not?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it might have been, and I'm totally speaking out of ignorance. So you can look it up, but that's not fun. We'll just guess. I believe it was around the Xbox 360, Xbox One transition time.
I remember something like that. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Boys, I have just one fun question for you in the spirit of all the weather and stuff we're expecting, and maybe some power outages. What is one single player game that you could play offline that if you had, let's say you lost power for 72 hours, it was the only thing you could play, what would it be? I already know Nick's, if I had to guess. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remastered.
No,
No?
no,
Oh, okay.
honestly, I think I'm fucking burnt out on the Oblivion and
Bethesda.
I want to say Bethesda. I mean, they still have their hooks. Those dirty fiends, they got their hooks. Um, Dave, you got one off the rip? I got to think on this, man.
I got one for you guys if you want me to go while
Yeah,
you're
you go ahead
thinking.
and lead it.
So currently, and I would want it to come out, is Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined. Or if I,
Oh, you're doing games that are potential that are coming out.
That comes out next week, right?
Yeah, so it comes out next week. So I'm kind of counting it because it'll probably come out during the
I got you.
snowstorm. But if that one was the option, say the snowstorm hit right now, mine would be a revisit, even with the remaster coming out, would probably be Fallout New Vegas, to just go through that world and kind of get reacquainted, especially with the show still fresh in my mind and you know what I mean. So I'd probably go Fallout New Vegas and give. I mean, say what we want about Bethesda. If you want an offline game that's going to give you some fun, and that's they make some of the best of them. So
You know what I would do is now this is I don't know. So I was going to say Fallout 3. I'll be honest with you, that because that's why I said, with Bethesda. Um, but I'd tell you, let's say I know, right, I'm gonna lose power and I got a couple days and all I could do is game and I wanted to download something. I think I would go ahead and download on my computer Fallout 1 and 2 and play through them because I never have.
nice, that'd be cool. That'd be really
And
cool.
you know what I mean? Just to see. It, from what I heard, they're about a 10 to 15 hour game. So,
Knock
they're
them
kind of
both out the
clunky,
time frame. Yeah,
but cool lore. You know what I mean? I think I'd give those a try.
Yeah.
nice. Dave, you gonna round out
Hey,
the
like you
Fallout
said,
trio?
I'm in that universe right now too, dude. I'm fucking loving it.
Yeah, and people are like not liking the show, and I'm like, I don't get it. I like it. Yeah, the story's kind of
I
weird
think it's
right
great.
now, but it's cool. Like the last episode with the ghoul like impaled, and he's starting to
Yeah,
transform, and he's like making the sound, and they get to see a super mutant. If you get
yeah.
mad about Fallout spoilers, we're sorry, guys. There's been super mutant in every game, but yeah, getting to actually see one in real life, not real life, but live action, I should say, is pretty sick.
Not to draw this out, but I've heard people are mad at. What are they mad about?
They just don't think
Like,
this.
I love Fallout, and I'm not sitting here watching the show being like, God damn it, they didn't say this part of the game. Like, they've done such a good job compared to other shows that
Yeah,
are
people
about
are
games.
like
Like,
they're
it's
complaining about like the locations of buildings and stuff, and I'm like, one critique
that's a
that I think is
Jesus
that one's
Christ.
not valid at all. That's ridiculous. They're never gonna get it 1-to-1, guys. Chill out. But like they were complaining, like, what about Freeside? Like, and then the next episode they're Freeside. I'm like, dude, just give it time. The one critique I will give it, I do feel like the Brotherhood of Steel stuff is going by way too fast. Like it's just like boom, 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 boom. I feel like that could have been. It's because they're in a time constraint. There's 8 episodes, so they have to make the story go along. But
Yeah.
I feel like we could have spent a little bit more time with that kind of building up. But again, that's just a minor critique. I overall enjoy it. But Dave, what's your blackout game?
Well, with just looking ahead at what's coming out this year, I have had the urge to dive back in. I know they did the Fable 1 remaster, and I played a little bit of it when it came out, but I don't know, I forget. I think there was a deployment or something, and you guys know how that goes, where you start a game and then 6 or 7 months later you're not going back to it, or you're playing something new. But so I've kind of had the urge. I might get the Fables downloaded. Uh, or also with Grand Theft Auto. I mean, those games you can just get so immersed, and I've kind of had the urge lately, not for Grand Theft Auto 5, I think that got enough time, but I've kind of wanted to go back and play some of the older ones. Like I know they put out that pack in the past couple of years that was Vice City and San Andreas together, and those would be a way to kill some time when you're snowed in. Go through San Andreas again. Go hit the gym and get your character all bulked up, and that,
Dude,
that
I love that part about San Andreas. Not to
yeah,
cut you off, but that was that was the game that got me introduced really to start loving Grand Theft Auto.
yeah.
You could upgrade your character by doing those activities. It was pretty cool.
And that's a quick I know we're getting towards the end of the show, and I know we'll talk about GTA a bunch this year, but I did see some some news article talking about that they're bringing that feature back to where your character, if you're just the more you're out there sprinting, they'll get like leaner. And this, I'm assuming this will be for the online, but I'm not sure. But then you can actually go to the gym and put muscle on your character that way. So I know that's a fan favorite feature that hasn't been in the past couple titles.
Yeah.
So if they bring that back, it's just so goofy to think about though. Like you're sitting there, you're just making your character hit the bench press, and it's like, well, should I just turn this off and go to the gym myself? Like, but it does
You
that
can
stuff.
also make your character eat 50 cheeseburgers and make him a
Yeah.
fat bastard too.
Yeah, they could get
Same
fat as
time.
hell. And then you're trying to run from the cops, and he's just like got his hands on his knees, getting tired. it's, it's such a
That
cool.
kind of immersion is so cool though. That's where
Yeah, it's great, dude.
and like it didn't have as much of it, but my favorite Grand Theft Auto has always been Grand Theft Auto 4, like being
Oh, I love
being
that
the
one.
Russian.
It,
Like I
it
thought it
is.
was so cool.
Nico.
Yeah, Nico, man, he was just
Yeah,
awesome.
I think that one is like obviously Grand Theft Auto Online just took over, but the main story with Grand Theft Auto 5, I didn't buy that much into the story and the characters. It was more of like, oh, let's show you all the features of this game. Like now you're flying
Yeah.
planes and doing all that. But Grand Theft Auto 4 was nice, like that gritty. You're grinding through and you're earning your new car and stuff. But
New
You just start
tracksuits.
off
I
as
love
a
getting the
yeah.
tracksuits. It's so
yeah,
awesome.
Start off in a tracksuit driving a taxi, and then one day you're taking over the city.
It
right.
was such a good
Yeah.
game, man.
It is nice. So that'll answer your question, but also just for the whole year. I think anytime there's a gap in these new releases, and my backlog this year is I think going to be at least one of the old Fables, and then probably some of the old Grand Theft Autos as well. But that's the tough thing, man. There's so much stuff coming out. Like Gears of War E-Day makes me want to go back and get you guys on one of these nights and play like Gears of War 3 campaign together or something. Like just it's a big year.
The first one just had a remaster, right?
Yeah, it was. I think it was like the second time they remastered, and that's what dropped on PlayStation. Gears of War Reloaded or something,
Yeah,
whatever they
yeah.
titled it. But
I would love to hop into that with you guys. Can you do 3 players in Gears co-op?
I think
Yeah, 'cause
the first title
what?
might have been just 2.
Yeah.
We could check on that, but I know the later ones they opened it up because I know I played 4 players on a bunch of Gears of War titles. So we'll
Because
have
I think
to.
they make you Carmine, right? Number 3 guy's Carmine, the Kenny of the Gears of War series, is just getting killed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and the majority it is with the helmet on.
and there's no shortage of things to play, and going back to what I was talking about with Phil Spencer leaving Xbox, or at least that's the I don't think any announcement has been made, but it's kind of the mic drop moment of here we go. Here's the big 4, Fable, Gears, Halo, and Forza all in 1 year, and then he's out. He can
Yeah.
kind of close the loop on a really big year. So
I just
we're not
think,
going to be bored.
No, not at all. And that, and just to put a cap on it, so because I know we're all ready to, all got early mornings and stuff. But I
Mm-hmm.
think the story of Xbox is just it's a little too late. You know what I mean? Like, if like it's all these great ideas, they're always ahead of their time. But like, imagine Game Pass comes out and then the turnout would have been like it is now. You know what I mean? I think we'd be singing a totally different tune if this was happening like 3-4 years ago when this all started
Mm-hmm.
happening. But there was like such a lull period of Xbox not dropping stuff that I think it just helped PlayStation dig its feet in. But if we start going on this path, we'll go for another hour. But
Yeah. Yeah, we gotta
boys,
cap it.
MIO, Highguard, Art versus Hype. We talked about a little bit of that. Talked about the Steam Machine coming up. Fable and PlayStation's dominance continues, and hopefully my two Xbox boys here will lift up the console so it survives another day. But again, guys, thank y'all so much for joining me tonight. What do y'all? I know you guys were all heading to bed right after this, but what do you got going on the rest of the week, Nick?
Well, a little bit of work and hopefully, hanging out with the family, doing some more stuff in the snow, but getting some MIO in, man. I really want to get some in before we get wrapped up in the other games dropping. I want to give it a try. You guys got me hyped on it. So hopefully playing that some, but just gonna be work, hanging with family, and yeah, man. That's all
Nice.
for me.
Dave?
Yeah, just trying to get after it. Fighting to keep the dad bod away. I think some people have kids and immediately accept it, but I refuse. Yeah, I was at the gym today, hit the sauna, did everything I could. And for us having twins at home, we're feeling like we can finally breathe a little bit now that they're almost a year and a half. Things have gotten a lot easier. We're finding more time to get the fitness in, more time to sneak some gaming sessions in. So I'll just be, family first, but got to finish MIO this week, and we'll see. Now there's so many titles we've thrown around. I don't know what I'll be jumping on. Once I finish MIO, I might just stare at my monitor and think about my life, but have like what's that? What do they call it? Like, is it this? Am I using the right term? Decision fatigue or something, like where it's like there's too many choices, or that I'm just gonna be like frozen. Like I don't even know what to do. I don't even know what to download and play first. But I'll
Well, I
pick
know we all
something.
have tinnitus, so you'll be staring there with that ringing happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same boat, boys. Like, bed tonight, obviously, but well, I gotta walk the dogs in this. What is it? 28 degrees right now. You know what I hate? This is a weird tangent, but like just when it's like 28 but feels like 10, so it's 10. Just say 10.
Yeah,
But
it's 10. Yeah,
but
it's all that matters to me.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
I just need to know how cold I'm going to be and how sad I'll be.
Yeah.
But same thing.
Yeah.
I got work, family. Me and the wife have a date night coming up. Excited about that. We'll
Ooh.
haven't decided where we're going to go yet. Probably thinking there's a really cool place here in Richmond called Tobacco Company that Nick's been to with me before. It's next time you're
Sounds
down,
good.
Dave. I think the three of us go out a little GG
Little,
steak dinner.
little
Yeah.
business dinner.
Yeah, business dinner. And we got guys only. We got the ladies. This is business. You guys know
Yeah.
you can't hear this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll put it on the company card.
There it is. It looks a lot like Nick's credit card. But but same thing. Getting hitting the gym all week, getting through this weather, dealing with not getting stuff planned for this weekend. We have a bunch of big events again, and kind of planning how that's gonna go and see how this weather turns. So, but I'm also excited too. I finished up Neo. I'm excited to hop into Highguard one time with you guys, maybe once or a couple games throughout the
Yeah.
week. But the big thing, and I think the way it's looking, I'll probably be off Monday, and I think early release for Dragon Quest VII is on Monday of the 2nd. So hopefully
Oh.
I'll get some time to get in and play it before we hop on the cast, and maybe some early scores are out, so we'll have that to discuss as well. So, but again, boys, thank y'all so much. Oh, so go ahead, Dave.
I was going to ask, how do you get that early release? Is it just pre-order?
Pre-order the deluxe edition. I bought the whole big thing, so I'm excited
Okay.
to get the costumes and all that stuff. And I'm geeked out for it. I can't wait. But
Yeah,
next week, boys, we'll find out if Karn performs or if I get the counterpoints. We'll talk about hopefully some Dragon Age. If I say Dragon Age one more time, I'm gonna lose my mind. So Dragon Quest 7 reimagined. Early things, and kind of see how this fallout from Highguard continues to go. But again, everybody, thank you all so much for joining. Please make sure you're liking and subscribing. We please continue to comment. We like to engage with y'all. We know we drop daily shorts. We do this episode every week. These two gentlemen also host another podcast called Nick and Dave Save the World. Nick also has a bourbon podcast with two of his other buddies called Uncut Never Filtered. So make sure you're always looking out there for us. Again, like and subscribe to all those channels. Thank y'all. Get your gaming in. Make sure y'all are playing MIO. Me and Dave want to talk spoilers, everybody. But again, everybody, thank y'all again for joining us. Y'all have a great week, and we'll see you next week and continue to grind and game. We'll see you then. Bye, guys.
Good.